Okay, I'm trying to make a video explaining how I developed gender dysphoria, what experiences that led me to this, and why do I hate myself for being male, both in terms of a biological and a cultural context. First of all, let me talk about some background of the story. I was born male according to the birth documents because I was born with male body parts, and I've always been presenting in an acceptably masculine manner. Because that's what society considers appropriate for people like me, and I'm also not gay as well, considering I am attracted to women. Now, the first experience that I want to talk about is ever since the time when I was almost graduating from elementary school, when I was around 11 years old. My mom had always been telling me that you cannot hit a woman or be too harsh to them, even when they hit you, even when they're harsh to you, because you're a lot stronger than them. Yeah, she's always been telling me something in the lines of that, and she brings that up from time to time whenever a related situation happens. And yeah, I know that this is fact. This is a real thing, but what that kind of saying led me to is that it made me believe that being biologically male is inherently unfair to others. That's equivalent to doping in sports or cheating in an exam, which is definitely no good for others, and it's something that you literally cannot avoid because you're born like this. You're not made like this, to be honest. That's why since then I've been trying to stop myself from appearing physically stronger, because I just don't want to be seen like that. I don't want to be seen as a problem, as someone who is literally unfair to others. That's pretty much the best I can explain the first experience. And the second one will be the fact that my parents had always been taking swear words too literally. Ever since I was like 10 to 11 years old, every time my mom hears me saying the word fuck or fuck you in front of her, and even flipping a bird because this means fuck you, she's gonna reply to me like yelling and even crying, saying that I'm raping her, because she took the meaning of to physically fuck or just to fuck way too literally. Alright, that's why she tends to associate that with sex, but in reality nobody in the world who says fuck you or flip a bird at you is trying to mean that they are going to physically fuck you. That literally always means something different. Yeah, I just need to have some water. Yeah, talking can be tiring, so that literally always means something different. And I do understand that swearing in a family type context is wrong, it's not family friendly, but if you're a parent, then you should not be interpreting, why is it so hard to pronounce, swear words in such a literal manner, because that can ruin your children's common sense later in life. Alright? People just don't use swear words in such a literal manner, and yeah, that's the simple reality in society, you know? And when she's saying that, that has a really negative impact accumulating in my memory, and it's one of the things that led me to believing that the male sexuality is penetrative, is aggressive, and it's not going to do anyone else any good. And there are more that leads to this kind of belief later on. The third one I want to talk in this video is that when I was in middle school, shit took a downturn. That's when I started getting so-called legit official sex education by the school authorities, both from teachers who work in the school and also some so-called experts that the school hired to give speeches to students. And judging by the way that they described and explain stuff, it seems that they are quite okay about the female sexuality, but they often describe the male sexuality as something that impacts the world negatively. It's something that's just not good for others in a lot of ways, as a type of issue, a problem. And during that time is also the time when I started getting more information and knowledge from the news media and the social media. Is when I started using Facebook. And whenever there is something that's related to the male sexuality that's being mentioned there, is certainly going to be something that's negative. Alright? Positive things about that is literally never mentioned. And that led me to believing that the male sexuality is offensive, is penetrative, and is inherently selfish. It is just not going to do anyone else any good. Because, and then I started believing that no matter what, nobody will ever let you fuck physically. That's what I told to myself in my mind, saying that this is never gonna happen because the authorities often highlight how unrealistic is porn and romance stories are. Yeah, that's why I'm believing in that. And I started to believe that anything that you can see in any kind of porn and any kind of romance novels, romance stories, no matter if they're realistic, unrealistic, or whatever, is simply never going to happen in real life. I started to believe that sex is something that only the one who is penetrating can enjoy. Those that are being penetrated, no matter if they're penetrated in the vagina, the anus, the mouth, it doesn't even matter. They simply don't enjoy this at all. So, I mean, that highlights how selfish and how irresponsible the male sexuality is. That's why I started becoming ashamed of it. Yeah. So, what else should I talk about? So, what eventually led to my gender dysphoria of like hating the masculine characteristics that I have and on me wanting to get rid of my masculinity is a combination of different factors that accumulated in my memory over time. And at the end is making me really unhappy about this. So, I'm kind of ashamed of it because it's often depicted in such a negative manner. That's why I've always wanted to stop myself from masculinizing, even in situations that I'm not really allowed to. I understand that it's gonna make you feel hard. That's gonna make you feel unhappy overall. But what I know about gender dysphoria at the end of the day is that it's just like PTSD, which is about the negative experiences in life accumulating in your memory, both consciously and subconsciously, and it eventually led to you acting and thinking in a manner that that is hugely negative. That's pretty much all I have to say in this video.